Great day. So today we're going to talk about what is an unrealistic expectation because I had some really big unrealistic expectations. So I'm like, hey, maybe I'm not the only one. But first things first, if you're new here, hey, welcome. I'm Keisha Ellingson, and I help people who have moved heal their homesickness by leading through the process of creating excitement and connecting in the new area, even if you are super shy, because I was too. It's all skills you can develop and a process that I can lead you through. So you don't have to be lonely and sad and homesick. I can help. Okay, so we're talking about unrealistic expectations. Sometimes I can expect life to be super easy. And I have this like perfect vision of what it's going to be, what it's going to look like, how my day is going to go. And then reality kind of hits me upside the head a little bit because things don't usually go perfectly like I expect them to. So, and I know this is not for everyone, but sometimes like I can expect life to just be super easy. I expect to feel happy all the time and my kids to be happy and well behaved all of the time. And if I'm honest, sometimes I expect for my dream life to just float to me, like for it to be very easy for me to step into and just go. And sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes that can be a very unrealistic expectation. So, for instance, the kids were doing their chores, and I have this expectation of the kids will do their chores every day, which they do because I can control that. But they will also be very happy and they will not fight and they will do their entire chore list without me intervening and without needing redirection, which is unrealistic because although I can prompt and help them to do their chores and make sure that their chores are done before they get other privileges like screen time, I cannot and I do not have control over their emotions. So I cannot say, you must be happy all the time. But sometimes my brain has unrealistic expectations and I just expect that, right? I was also noticed for myself that I was feeling super duper stressed and not able to get it all done. And what I did is I took my list of my morning chores and I wrote out everything that I was expecting for myself to get it done. And by the time I was done with my list, I I looked at it and I was like, I can't even accomplish this in a day, let alone the hour and a half to 2 hours that I was expecting to get this all done. And then sometimes I can switch into like an all or nothing, as I'm sure a lot of people do. It's called dualistic thinking. It's either this way or that way. There's a lot of dualistic thinking out there. And so I felt like, well, I've tried, I've put in my best effort, and I'm not there yet. So if I didn't do it all, then I must be a failure, right? I must not be good enough. Some of you are like, oh my goodness, I have those thoughts. And so those can come from unrealistic expectations. And if we continue to sit with unrealistic expectations and be expecting that over and over again, it can lead to some not so pretty places, such as despair, anxiety, depression, and a lower self-confidence, which I found really interesting. Like, think about that. Like, we are actually ourselves lowering our own self-confidence because we're setting standards that you can't do, like people cannot do. For instance, like earlier in this video when I explained to like my morning routine, my morning list of chores that I was expecting myself to do, that I couldn't even do it in a day, and I was feeling less than because I couldn't do that. Like, that's oftentimes what happens with unrealistic high expectations. So some things that will help is to write it out. Sometimes our mental list in our head, like, it makes it seem short, like, oh, I'm just going to do this quick, this, and this, and we'll be good. but actually writing out, okay, what am I expecting? And then looking over the list. Is there something that you can time? If you can actually time it, like, I'm expecting to get this done in 30 minutes. Can I? Like, try it. And if it's not doable in 2 hours, then the expectation to have it done in 30 minutes is unrealistic, right? And that just needs to adjust. Also, a question I love to ask myself is, do I have control over this? Because if I'm putting pressure on myself for something that I don't have control over, that's unrealistic. For instance, the expectation of my kids to be happy as they're doing their chores, that's not in my control. I can prompt, I can give them a good environment to be happy, but ultimately their emotions is their choice. And how they look and view at the world, that's ultimately their choice also. So if they want to, they can choose, like, mom is the meanest mom, the most horrible, like, I'm stuck with a mean mom who makes me do chores. That's, I mean, sometimes I chose that outlook as a kid too, about doing chores. So go through your list of expectations and check if you have some expectations for yourself or situations that you don't have control over. It's a very eye-opening experience. So, and something that's coming up, talking about all expectations, is a challenge in the Homesick to Happy Movers group. We're going to do a challenge based on all expectations around moving, expectations we had with our family, like confronting these unrealistic expectations, but then also saying, like, where do we go now? Like, how do we adjust this? And how do we move on to a place where we are actually thriving in life and not drowning underneath unrealistic expectations? So it's going to be fun. There's a link in the description if you want to join. If not, that's cool too. But moral of the story, check your expectations, because they might be unrealistic. So I hope you have a fabulous day.